Hello, friends. Welcome to Storycraft. On this channel, you will enjoy world top stories. Let's view the video. The real reason. The Library of Alexandria was destroyed. The birth of a dream. Alexandria's quest for all knowledge. In the ancient world, knowledge was power. But nowhere was this idea taken as seriously as in Alexandria, Egypt, a city built on the shores of the Mediterranean by Alexander the Great himself. Imagine a place where scholars, scientists, poets, and philosophers from across the known world gathered under one roof, united by a singular dream, to collect all the world's knowledge. The Library of Alexandria was no ordinary library. It wasn't just a building filled with dusty scrolls. It was an ambitious experiment in human curiosity, an intellectual utopia. Founded around 300 BCE, it was part of the larger Mausion, a kind of ancient research institute where brilliant minds worked together to push the boundaries of science, philosophy, and art. The rulers of Alexandria, especially Ptolemy the Fern and his successors, were obsessed with gathering texts. They sent agents far and wide, from Greece to India, from Persia to Egypt, buying, copying, and sometimes even confiscating scrolls from ships docking at Alexandria's port. Legend has it that any book that came into the city had to be surrendered, copied, and placed in the library before being returned. This relentless collection effort turned Alexandria into the intellectual capital of the ancient world. But why was this library so important? Because it was more than just a collection of books. It was a symbol of human progress. The hope that by understanding the world's knowledge, humanity could solve mysteries, cure diseases, explore the stars, and uncover the secrets of life itself. Scholars like Euclid, the father of geometry, and Eratosthenes, who accurately calculated the Earth's circumference, worked in this hub of learning. The library housed texts on philosophy, astronomy, mathematics, medicine, and countless other subjects, many of which have been lost to time. But this golden era of intellectual flourishing wasn't just about knowledge for knowledge's sake. It was about power, cultural power, political power, and even spiritual power. The library was a beacon that showed the world that Alexandria was the heart of civilization. Yet, behind this dream lurked growing tensions between political factions, religious groups, and rival cities. These tensions would sow the seeds of the library's eventual downfall. But before we get to that, we must understand how this grand vision began and why it mattered so deeply to the ancient world. Scrolls of power, secrets. Hidden in the library's walls, the Library of Alexandria was a fortress of knowledge, but it was also a vault of secrets. While many think of the library as a peaceful sanctuary for scholars, the reality was far more complex. The scrolls housed there were not just academic texts. They contained powerful information that could change the course of history. Political strategies, ancient philosophies, religious doctrines, and scientific breakthroughs were all stored within these walls. Rulers knew the value of knowledge as a tool for control. Whoever controlled the flow of information held the keys to influence. This made the library both a treasure and a target. One of the most guarded secrets was the library's vast collection of works from civilizations far older than Alexandria itself, including Babylonian astronomical charts, Egyptian religious texts, and Greek philosophical treatises. These texts included potentially explosive ideas such as early theories about the universe that challenged religious orthodoxy or political ideologies that threatened existing power structures. The librarians themselves were more than custodians. They were scholars, spies, and sometimes even propagandists. They controlled who could access certain knowledge and how it was interpreted. In many ways, the library was an ancient information hub, much like today's internet, but carefully monitored and controlled. Some historians suggest that the library also housed secret knowledge about technology and inventions that, if revealed too early, could have upset the balance of power. Could there have been texts describing advanced machinery, forgotten sciences, or even early experiments in medicine that modern science only rediscovered centuries later? The idea that knowledge was power explains why many feared the library. It was not simply about preserving wisdom, it was about controlling the future. As tensions rose in Alexandria, political and religious groups began to see the library as a threat to their authority. The idea that anyone could access such vast knowledge was terrifying to those who wanted to maintain control through ignorance. This battle over information set the stage for a dramatic conflict. The library became a symbol not just of enlightenment but of dangerous rebellion against established powers. What happened next would change the course of history forever, as flames consumed scrolls that might have held answers to some of humanity's greatest mysteries. Enemies of wisdom, the first flames of destruction. The Library of Alexandria wasn't destroyed in a single blaze, but rather suffered from a series of devastating attacks that slowly chipped away at its vast treasures. The first major blow came during the Roman civil wars, a time when political chaos spilled into the city's streets, and the pursuit of power often meant burning down the past. One of the most infamous incidents is linked to Julius Caesar's siege of Alexandria in 48 BCE. Caesar's fleet was trapped in the harbor, and in a desperate attempt to break the blockade, he ordered the burning of the Egyptian fleet. But the fire spread uncontrollably, and it's believed that parts of the library or the adjacent warehouses filled with scrolls caught fire as well. What's striking is how quickly this tragedy unfolded. A military tactic turned cultural. Catastrophe. Thousands of priceless scrolls, many irreplaceable, went up in flames. The loss was so severe that some scholars claim it marked the beginning of the library's slow death. But why was there no effort to save the knowledge? The answer lies in the turbulent political environment. During civil war, survival takes priority over preservation. Alexandria was a battleground for rival factions, each more concerned with gaining control than protecting wisdom. This event exposed a deeper vulnerability. The library was not just a collection of knowledge, but a target for those who wanted to erase the power it represented. Following Caesar's siege, the city was weakened, and with it, the library's influence began to fade. Scholars left, funding dried up, and political leaders lost interest in maintaining this center of learning. Still, the library endured, albeit in a diminished state, for centuries. But the scars from the fire lingered, and tensions between different religious and political groups were rising, tensions that would soon erupt into even more destructive actions. Politics, religion, and betrayal. The final blow by the Kai. Time Christianity rose to prominence in the Roman Empire. The Library of Alexandria found itself caught in a deadly crossfire between old pagan traditions and new religious ideologies. Many historians believe that the growing power of the Christian church played a crucial role in the library's ultimate destruction. Alexandria was a melting pot of ideas, pagan, Jewish, Christian, but as Christianity became dominant, its leaders sought to eliminate what they considered heretical or dangerous knowledge. The Great Serapeum, a temple dedicated to the Greco-Egyptian god Serapis and closely linked to the library's collections, was attacked by a Christian mob in 391 CE, reportedly under the orders of Bishop Theophilus. This violent assault led to the destruction of priceless religious texts and manuscripts, further stripping Alexandria of its cultural wealth. This wasn't just religious zealotry. It was a political move. The new Christian authorities wanted to consolidate power and unify the empire under their doctrine. Knowledge that contradicted their beliefs was seen as a threat to be eliminated. But the betrayal ran even deeper. Some say that within Alexandria, scholars and politicians who once protected the library turned their backs when faced with the rising tide of fanaticism and political pressure. Allies became enemies, and what was once a hub of open inquiry became a battleground of censorship and fear. Moreover, the library's decline was accelerated by neglect and apathy, from rulers who no longer saw value in maintaining an institution that represented a fading era. By the end of the 4th century, the library's surviving scrolls had either been destroyed, lost, or scattered. The once glorious center of knowledge was reduced to ruins, a shadow of its former self. Lost forever. The truth. They don't want you to know. For centuries, the destruction of the Library of Alexandria has been shrouded in mystery and myth. Many believe it was a single catastrophic event, but the truth is far more complex and disturbing. The library didn't just fall victim to war or religion. It was a victim of human fear. Fear of knowledge, fear of change, and fear of losing control. While the flames consumed scrolls, the real destruction was the loss of an open society willing to seek truth at all costs. But what if some of the library's secrets survived? Some historians speculate that key texts were secretly hidden, copied, or smuggled away, passing their wisdom through underground networks, influencing science and philosophy in ways we're only beginning to understand. The story of the Library of Alexandria is a powerful reminder. Knowledge is fragile, and its preservation depends not only on buildings, but on the courage of people willing to protect it. The question remains, what knowledge was lost forever, and how might our world be different if the flames had never touched those precious scrolls? Thanks for watching. Subscribe our channel Storycraft for more interesting videos.